education. And I do think that's confusing or missing. I think the education part, when it comes to voting, I think that's something that's really not um, harped on, or really not, um, you know, broadcasted enough. Education when it comes to candidates, learning about each candidate, learning about each party, learning what is the Republican Party, what is the Democrat Party, just learning about this every instance of the election process. I think is just where it's confusing, where it's missing and where it's confusing. So I think that there should be more done to educate people, and I think there is. I think there's attempts to educate people, the public, on the election process, but I don't think it's kind of hard to trust or believe, if things are done in a way that's honest. And I think that's where confusion come in. And I think people are kind of confused about. I mean, number one thing right now is that people are saying, from what I understand, is that it doesn't matter who you vote for in the presidential election, for instance, because the vote is not made by the people anyway, it's made by the electoral college. So things like that, it's really confusing. So I think that's where I think that's that information.
I would say the registration was not confusing. Physical voting was not confusing. Education, very confusing. There's just no good outlet or sources. And for me, I mean, I'm definitely independent, so I would choose to vote for who I thought the best candidate was, but there really aren't any good resources that I feel like I can go to really get the truth about the candidates.
Well, I didn't think anything was confusing or missing. I mean, I get things in the mail all the time about registering. So the registering process doesn't seem difficult. You can register online. They send you things in the mail all the time. The physical voting, because I do usually watch enough news that I know where to go for any type of physical voting. Education-wise, there's always a lot of at least excerpts, at least on news channels, ABC News and Newsy and others, where you can get information and education, and you can even just go online and type in a particular candidate, and you'll get things from their camp, as well as clips and articles about them and their stand on different things and so forth. So I don't think that's confusing either. So I think, if anything, I think there's sometimes too much information, a lot of it, frankly, confusing. And I feel for people who are trying to sift through that to figure out the best choice out of several bad choices, essentially.
Registration is fine. In my opinion, it's easy to get registered, not that hard. Physical voting could be a bit annoying because I have to go out and do it. Mostly, I just don't want to go out. I just want to go out and vote. That's not like, it's because it's more like I don't want to drive so far to do it, and I'm just not agree. I don't like physical voting. I don't know. It's probably more safe. It's probably more like legit. Like the votes are probably easier to maintain. Like if someone's not like, what's it called, making a scam out of it. I don't know. Education on voting. It's not that hard to learn about politics if you actually search for it. It's really not. It's really not that hard to get information and draw. Like it's everywhere. You can find almost on everything. But you find a lot of like twisted views on it though. So you gotta like see a lot of different things to get your main point.